It is November 2017 and I have decided to open up a new business. Hello and welcome. This is Zacharian Computer Detective or ZaCoDe, and I am your host, Zachary. My business will be investigating computers and related stuff, and this episode 0 is sort of like teaser or pilot episode in which I don't yet have any case to investigate as such, physical cases, but investigation cases. So funny. Funny bunny, ba-ba-dim-ba-dim. Well, it's more like I'm representing some stuff I already have here and what I have gotten recently. This is in order to give some tips about what kind of stuff we might be handling here. So, shall we take a look? Huge pile of cables here, and even more over here. And I'm mostly not going to deal with these. However, I would like to take this my latest purchase. This is a MIDI cable for all computers connecting to the game port and allowing even joystick with the MIDI simultaneously. With this I can, I hope so, sooner or later do some retro music with MIDI equipment. This is not exactly retro stuff or not very old, but it's a router for Ethernet with Wi-Fi. With this I can connect a few of my computers later on for maybe trying building a network for games, of course. And this is not very retro either, but it's unpacked and it's from 2009. I guess now we can start with one of first boxes. This is reading Sonora, but it does not include anything like that, but instead there is a floppy drive. 5.25 inch floppy drive for PC and made by Matsushita, it seems. I have been unable to get this working so far, and I don't have yet a cable, but I have a big box of old floppies here for PC. Microsoft Paintbrush. I just happened to found this marvelous box of this and that, like Lotus 123 and Windows, the first version from I suppose it's the first version from 1985, I'd recall. These are not tested anyhow, but I'll be looking forward to getting my old floppy drive or PC working. And the next box here seems like it might not be very interesting. Yes, it's basically just some cables, IDE, Amiga floppy, and blah 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 blah. Just another box of computer cables. I just put this away. Oh, then we have a quite interesting box. I do know what is included here, and oh, well, first thing here, this is a joystick port for Commodore 64. It goes to the user port, so you can actually attach 4 joysticks at the same time. Unfortunately, at the moment I don't have any games that would support 4 players to simultaneously. And here is Final Cartridge 3. It's the original model. I had this modern remake of it, but there was some problems with it. It didn't work with my Commodore 128. And here we have something very, very fancy. It's a ZaCoDe floppy emulator for Amiga. Yeah, it's a firmware is for Amiga at the moment. Here are some accessories for it, which I have not tested or not gotten to work, but nevertheless this is the most important thing, and I never realized until I got this how marvelous this is. I mean, it functions very nicely. I suppose now we can open a first actually sealed package. I think I remember what's included. And yes, indeed. It's the USB to SATA and IDE cable adapter. With this I can supposedly connect, not getting another bridge between my old computers and my more modern computer. Oh, this looks very neat. And I'd actually not like to unpack this completely now, because I'm not going to use it immediately. It will stay in better condition if I'll keep it in the box, and I can maybe still get it back together without... This is difficult, all the cables already. I suppose we can now go to these here. They've been tempting you as something unclear, something vague, waiting for someone to go and grab them. Here are various cards, and this is PCI version. Actually, there was only PCI version. I think this is Sound Blaster by Creative, but actually I think this exact model is in practice in Sonic Audio PCI card. I think so. Well, I don't know very much about this one at the moment, so I'll be checking it out later. Now, this is quite nice one. This is Sound Blaster AVE 64. Unfortunately, it's not the gold version, but nevertheless, I think I'll find this convenient for my DOS computer. At least it'd be interesting to test this. And it's on ISA gate as a bus, as you can see. Here is another Sound Blaster, this time at PCI, and it's Sound Blaster Live. I think this is the first version. Golden connectors. And then we have a third pack here. And here we have something which really took my attention. Aztec sound card. I had never heard anything about these Aztec sound cards before, but nowadays, when I googled a little bit, I found out that these are supposedly pretty much Sound Blaster Pro compatible, or clones, or at least close to it. There should be this OPL3 circuit. You can't really see it on the video most likely, but nevertheless there is one. So it should sound pretty much exactly like. And then we have also this very sort of another mysterious card. This may be even more Opti made. I think it's called OptiSound, and I don't know really anything about this, but I'll be looking forward to see and test them when I'll be able to. These both are for ISA, and at the moment I have no ISA compatible computer working. And the last part, these are just COM ports. I might be needing some serial connectors. I'll deal these two one at the same time because they are from the same sender. This is not exactly very retro again, but it's well, nice projector for VGA connector. Actually, it does have even newer connectors, not just VGA. I didn't actually realize, and so on. And this one, it's something brand new, old stuff. I mean, it's still in the factory package and plastics, and I'm not going to open this now. It is a signal selector for VGA, so for instance I could connect several computers into this machine, and I suppose this is just a fine moment to grab this one as well here. It's nothing special as such, it's just a vintage look keyboard with PS2 connector, AST keyboard, feels kinda nice, and there is no Windows keys. This one again is not exactly anything retro, just a laptop cooler which I found. I have this one laptop over there, old one, and it tends to overheat when I'm using it. So this will be handy. Interestingly, we're starting to run a little bit low on packages already, but it's not quite ended yet. So here is, this is very nice indeed, this amount of padding inside this. I suppose it's very suitable, appropriate, because what is included here is something rather special. This is a Voodoo Banshee card. 3DFX Voodoo 2 chips with some limitations, and it's quite nice graphics card with 3D accelerator. Most of the old DOS systems with Voodoo requirements should work fine with this, and otherwise it's in pretty neat condition and so on. I'm really glad to have this, especially as I have it as a PCI version. I will have a box here which is already unboxed actually. And what have we here? We have Advanced Gravis Pro and Gunship 2000. So I used to have a Advanced Gravis, the original model joystick, but not this Pro model. It has some, well, worn-ups and a little bit noisy and so on, but it should work just fine and should be very nice joystick for most DOS era games. And I suppose I can briefly show this as well, what's included here. Here are so, save disk, and then there is a box which is completely unrelated. Then here are those original discs, 4 DD discs, and then of course we have manuals and other stuff. Oh, there's still keyboard layout as well. This is nice. I always loved these so much as a child. Oh, keyboard layouts used to be so much different. I remember playing lots of Commodore 64 games with these from Microprose, and those had like Red Storm Rising. Now that we got in the joysticks, we have something more of the same class. So I found from Flea Market. This is Microsoft force feedback wheel. I've never had any racing wheel of my own. Awesome to have this thing here actually. Even though it totally feels like a toy. Well, the rubbers are okay, but pedals, and these are quite notoriously so steep. This is the feet will be a really awkward position with the worst part of this racing wheel. And in the same package I had Logitech Wingman with so many different axes and so many buttons. I never had anything like this while I was playing games of this era. And it has, oh, so fancy, both USB game port with a true adapter. Unfortunately, this is still a digital joystick, and as far as I know, it doesn't have any analog emulation mode, so it doesn't work with DOS at all. Nevertheless, it's quite fancy joystick, and I think I might find some more recent games to play this with. And in addition, I have something quite much smaller than the Logitech. This is actually feels much more comfortable in my hand than the huge joystick, and this is USB only, and it doesn't have these sideways axis movements, and it's quite plain, but Seems comfortable enough for me. Such a mess over here.
Unauthorized access detected. Initializing shield protocol. Hacker must be terminated.
Alright, so I think that about wraps it up for this time. I don't yet know for sure then what's gonna be next, but there must be somebody on my door. I better go it, so I'll just call it a day, and thanks for watching, and I hope you see you again. Maybe it's another case, or my first case, right on the door.